How's it going, my dudes? I know you can see me through the camera, through the TV, but I thought I would make a video to showcase one of my newest additions to the collection, and also one of the rarest. There's only been one video where this has been shown off to YouTube, that being courtesy of Aussie VHS and DVDs. This has never been shown in terms of like a review and a showcase per se, other than him, and I somehow obtained this. The story that this release has and how I obtained it is honestly very, very cool. Here it is. Yup, this is the Australian exclusive DVD release of Thomas and Friends Happy Holidays. Let's start off with the release history. So, Happy Holidays was originally first released in 1999. It was only exclusive to VHS in the UK. In 2000, Australia ended up getting the release with this same style cover. In 2006, ABC for Kids released it on DVD. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. On both the UK and the Australian VHS, it had 3 songs included with the release. But for some reason with this release right here that I have in my hands, this does not feature any songs on it at all, despite it being advertised that it has 3 songs on it. And it is also mentioned on the back, where as you can see, it has Percy's Seaside Trip, Come for the Ride, and Harold the Helicopter. Because of this, ABC for Kids ended up recalling these DVDs pretty much immediately or right around they were released. You know, for most companies, what they would have done was they probably would have actually like re-released it with the songs included. But I'm assuming because they decided not to do that, it probably would have been too much of a hassle. They just completely canceled this release. Now, there have been some copies surfaced. Like I said, I have one in my hand, obviously. Joseph has one, another good friend of mine and collector, Bryce, Oliver 11GWR, then Aussie. And I think that's it. There obviously probably is more, but in terms of them being like documented, that's just how many copies there were. So now that leads to how I got this. So, this was actually originally in the hands of Cardi, who you guys may know is the director of An Unlikely Fandom. Me and him have reached out to each other, and there was a DVD in my collection that he really wanted, and that was the Latin American version of Thomas Gets Tricked, which has George Carlin's narration on it, if you pick the English track. And I told them, I said, well, how about we do a little bit of a trade? And even though this was on a whole nother level of rarity, he was completely on board with it. And I'm assuming it's because, honestly, this DVD really isn't anything that special, but we'll get more into the details about that later. After waiting for quite a bit, I finally have it in my hands. And on top of that, he sent me an ISO rip of the Spanish Gets Tricked, which is really cool. So that way I have a way of watching that release. This is the cover. It has a very awesome picture of Thomas. This is taken from the Magic Railroad promotional image. It has a very nice illustrated background. And like I said, it's got 3 songs to sing along to. Very incorrect. Here's the spine from Hit Entertainment, which I think this was the first carry case release they put out. If not, it was probably like Twin Trouble or Jet Engine like being re-released or something. Here's the back. It says, it's a peep peep and a chuff chuff for all of the Thomas the Tank Engine fans out there, with 6 more adventures with Thomas and his friends, plus 3 special holiday songs for you to learn. They really advertised the songs on here, but then they somehow forgot to include them. Makes perfect sense. Now, mine still has this barcode sticker on it, which is on the bottom here, and I've seen people try to peel these off, and they're like one of those like security stickers. So I'm not going to even worry about peeling this thing off, and it also just gives it more of that nice little authentic look to it. So the stories include Sir Topham Hatt's Holiday, Makes Someone Happy, Stepney Gets Lost, Thomas, Percy, and the Old Slow Coach, Oliver's Find, and Busy Going Backwards. So as you can see, this is a season 5 themed release. So the runtime on this is 40 minutes, which is actually a lot, less time than that because the songs are not included, obviously. As you can see, it's from 2006. So opening it up, we have the disc inside. Very, very nice disc design. Again, the artwork is really, really nice. And take a little bit more of an in-depth look at this, just to show you guys that the songs were indeed not included on this DVD. All right, so we're gonna pop this in the good old PS5 and see what we're dealing with here. Also, do you guys like my setup? Okay, so it's got a little copyright warning. Seems about right. Oh, that's interesting. Little rating on the screen. Alright, so here is the menu for Happy Holidays, and as you can see, it's pretty much just the same as the DVD artwork, except it's obviously been moved around. But this is exactly what I was saying. There is no option to pick a song. You only have play all and select episodes, so I guess we're just gonna have to go to the episode selection. And here it is. We just got the 6 episodes, and there is no songs. Even if you were to play this, there is no songs featured on this thing at all. You would think like maybe it was just an accident and maybe they would have just, you know, not included as a menu, but it was on the main feature. Nope, not even on there. Ironically enough, the strange thing is that the masters that they use on these are very different compared to the VHS versions. So you know how most of the time when you're watching any episodes of season 5, they have like that Dolby Surround caption on the bottom? On both the UK and the Australian VHS, that's featured on here, but for some reason on the DVD version, it does not have that. And I'll show you guys. Oh yeah, that's noticeable, that little green line there. And I should point out that the quality on this is actually a lot more, it looks like the contrast is turned down. So yeah, it doesn't have that caption on the bottom at all. Oh yeah, the quality definitely isn't the greatest. I can see like little like speckles popping up. And again, it's not noticeable on camera, but the picture quality looks more like darkened. I really don't know why that is. So, let's just go back to the menu. That was Happy Holidays. Now, do I recommend anyone getting this if you're even able to find it? Because again, this thing is extremely hard to find. Considering that this was recalled, chances are whatever has been surfaced out there were the only copies that were ever purchased. Chances are when this was out in stores, I'm assuming parents or the kids bought it right before the recall thing happened, like probably like drop day or whatever if I had to guess. But there really isn't that many of these out there. But do I recommend you picking up the DVD release? If you're a collector, absolutely, this is 100% worth getting, just because it's a very neat novelty, and considering that the rarity of this thing, it's honestly quite surreal, especially for the history behind it. But if you're going to be disappointed with the episodes, let alone the fact it doesn't have songs and it's really nothing like, it's not even taken straight from the VHS versions, chances are you might be a little disappointed, then I don't recommend it. But like I said, I only recommend this if you're a collector and you like neat stuff like this. So that about wraps it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.